He said, "There's this look. You either have it or you don't. Charlie's got it." Coming from Spieth, who knows what it's like to be labeled the next big thing before you're even grown, that carried real weight. Suddenly, Charlie wasn't just Tiger's kid with promise. He was a legitimate topic of conversation in locker rooms and press tents across the sport. But the buzz wasn't built on sentiment. It was built on evidence, shots under pressure, composed interviews, and that same quiet intensity his father once had. The difference? Charlie's learning to channel it his own way. Where Tiger was fire and precision, Charlie's a mix of calm confidence and adaptability. You can sense it in how he walks, how he resets after a miss, how he looks down the fairway like he's already picturing the next step. What made pros lean in wasn't the swing, it was the substance. The ability to handle pressure that ruins most players twice his age. The kid doesn't just mimic greatness, he's studying it, refining it, and reshaping it. And as the applause grows louder, one thing becomes clear: this isn't nostalgia. This is the start of something new. The golf world isn't watching a sequel. It's watching a rewrite. That's what separates hype from history. The calm wasn't arrogance. It was awareness, the quiet kind that comes from preparation, not privilege. Charlie didn't play to prove a point or silence critics. He played like someone who's already been through the noise and learned how to tune it out. Every swing told a story of control, not of living in his father's shadow, but of slowly stepping out of it. By the time he walked off 18, it wasn't just another junior victory. It was a statement. The golf world didn't just see Tiger's son anymore. They saw a competitor with his own identity, one who might someday rewrite the family legacy instead of merely inheriting it. That shift isn't just in Charlie's game, it's in the way people talk about him. The conversation has evolved from Tiger's son can play to Charlie Woods can win. The confidence now feels earned, not inherited. His swing is no longer an echo of his dad's but an evolution of it, smoother, more compact, and tailored to his own rhythm. The spotlight hasn't dimmed, but Charlie seems to have learned how to use it instead of being blinded by it. What once looked like pressure now looks like presence. He's no longer just a storyline. He's becoming a standard. And that's when you know the transition is real, when the comparisons stop being about bloodlines and start being about leaderboards. It's that balance, the calm of a veteran with the hunger of a prodigy. That's turning heads across the sport. Charlie Woods isn't chasing his father's ghost. He's building his own presence, one shot at a time. What's striking is how intentional everything feels, from his pre-shot routine to his composure after a missed putt. There's no trace of panic, just focus. The golf world isn't watching for nostalgia anymore. They are watching because the kid can flat-out play. And as each tournament passes, it's becoming clearer that this isn't just a promising junior career unfolding. It's the early chapters of someone who could redefine what it means to grow up in the game's brightest shadow and still manage to outshine it. They're not dismissing it as hype anymore. They're respecting it. That shift doesn't happen easily in golf, a sport where veterans protect their space and prospects usually have to earn every ounce of credibility. But Charlie has forced that conversation early, not through words, not through name recognition, but through execution. His showing command, over his swing, over his nerves, and over the moment. When players who've lifted trophies start nodding in approval, it means something real is happening. They see it, the rhythm, the patience, the confidence that doesn't need validation. The next wave of talent is always coming, but Charlie Woods has arrived with something different, expectation. Because when you make professionals stop and take notice, not for nostalgia, not for novelty, but for your game, that's no longer potential. That's presence. By the time he made the 10, you could feel the air change. Gallery whispers turned into disbelief, and even the players chasing him knew they were now playing for second. Charlie's round wasn't a fluke. It was a statement. He wasn't just holding it together under pressure. He was thriving in it. The rhythm, the poise, the refusal to let a single mistake spiral. Those are the traits that separate the good from the great. When the final putt dropped, it wasn't just a win. It was a moment. The moment everyone watching realized that Charlie Woods isn't the future of golf anymore. He's the present, but now, those cameras aren't there out of curiosity. They're there out of respect. The conversation has shifted from potential to proof. Charlie isn't just showing flashes of greatness, he's sustaining it. You can see it in the way he carries himself, in the rhythm of his step, in the unshakable focus that seems to get sharper as the stakes rise. This is no longer about living up to a legacy. It's about building one. For years, The golf world wondered when Tiger Woods' son would make his own mark. Now we have the answer. He already has. That Sunday wasn't about proving who his father was. It was about proving who he was becoming. Charlie Woods didn't just win a tournament. He redefined what people expected from him. Every shot carried intent, every decision showed maturity, and every hole reminded the world that this wasn't a story about lineage anymore. It was about legitimacy. The whispers of Tiger's son faded into something louder and more meaningful. Charlie Woods just arrived. What unfolded that afternoon was more than a win. It was a statement. Charlie Woods dismantled one of the strongest junior fields in golf with precision, patience, and poise far beyond his age. Every swing looked deliberate, every decision controlled. By the time he reached the final stretch, it wasn't about surviving pressure. It was about owning the moment. Against the nation's best, Charlie didn't just hold his ground. He raised the standard. This wasn't about potential anymore. It was proof. The kid everyone once watched for his name had just earned one for himself. That's what made it special. Not the score, but the way he built it. Charlie Woods played Stream Song Black like a master, not a prodigy. He wasn't chasing highlight reels or miracle shots. He was building a round that made sense, one precise swing at a time. Every choice had purpose. Every hole told a story of control. By the end, it wasn't the number on the card that stunned people. It was the maturity behind it. A 16-year-old just outthought a field of future college stars on one of the most demanding courses in junior golf. And in doing so, Charlie didn't just win a tournament. He announced himself as the real thing, a player who doesn't need hype to make noise, just 18 holes and a plan. Charlie Woods didn't just win. He arrived. His victory at Streamsong wasn't about power or name recognition. It was about composure, calculation, and a kind of golf IQ that feels years ahead of schedule. Even Tiger acknowledged it. His son isn't following footsteps. He's paving his own trail. That's what separates this moment from hype. Charlie built his round like an architect, knowing when to attack and when to trust patience. The rest of the field, including favorites like Miles Russell, got caught trying to match his calm, and that's when they cracked. What we saw wasn't a lucky bounce or a breakout fluke. It was a young player understanding pressure, reading the course, and executing like a pro. Streamsong didn't expose him. It revealed him. And now, as the golf world recalibrates its expectations, one truth stands out. Charlie Woods isn't just Tiger's son chasing legacy. He's a contender shaping his own. That contrast defined Oakmorn. Scotty Scheffler showed up with expectation. J.J. Spawn showed up with freedom. One was burdened by destiny. The other carried none. And sometimes, that's the most dangerous player in the field. The one with nothing to protect. No script to follow. As the winds picked up and greens turned glassy, Scheffler's precision met its first hint of friction, while Spawn's simplicity became strength. He wasn't fighting the course. He was flowing with it. Fairways, greens, pars, boring golf to the untrained eye. But exactly what wins at Oakmorn? Each hole, the crowd shifted, the murmurs grew, and suddenly the man no one noticed was sitting on Scheffler's shoulder. The favorite versus the forgotten. And by Sunday afternoon, Oakmorn didn't care about resumes or rankings. It cared about nerve. And for 4 days, Spawn had more of it than anyone. No theatrics. Just control. While cameras chased umbrellas and commentary fixated on Scheffler's stumble, Spawn kept threading fairways like the storm didn't exist. His game wasn't loud. It was clinical. Fairway, green, 2 putts, walk away. The kind of rhythm that doesn't make highlight reels but quietly breaks leaderboards. By Saturday morning, as the course dried and the air thickened with tension, Spawn's name sat higher than anyone expected. Then higher still. He wasn't stealing the spotlight. He was earning it, one unbothered swing at a time. The broadcasters finally caught on, and whispers turned into disbelief, because what started as a good round had become something dangerous, a contender with nothing to lose. Scheffler was still in it, still steady, but the field had a new center of gravity. And by Sunday, Oakmont's storm had passed, but its echo remained. The world was watching the wrong man all week.